We are in the amazing city of Dubrovnik, and we're going to walk you through the best things we ate in this incredible city. Let's go.
Dubrovnik is a city known for its iconic walls, rich history, and seaside views. And with its unique Balkan culture, Dubrovnik is a great city to sample some tasty eats, even if it isn't one of the most affordable cities in the region. So in this food tour, we're sharing both budget and more expensive options as we walk through the best foods we ate in Dubrovnik, Croatia.
The first spot in our food tour takes us to a busy shop right inside the city's main gate. Here, among the charming streets and towering city walls, we're picking up an iconic Croatian pastry that we've heard is a must-try when visiting.
So we entered the city walls of Dubrovnik, and immediately we saw two tourists sitting down and eating what looks like a large, long pastry. And it looked delicious, so we asked them where it was from, and they told us to go to this holy Burek store. It seems like a Burek is a pastry that's sold in the Balkan areas, as well as some other areas like Greece and Turkey. But the shape of this is really interesting. I don't think I saw many shaped like this whenever I was looking online. They also had some pretty interesting flavors in there. We saw a chicken and leek one. They had veal, other meats, as well as just cheese. We ended up going with cheese and spinach, and they were hand making them in front of us. They look extremely fresh. It's still warm in my hand, so I'm gonna dive right in. Wow. That's interesting. I was expecting the same texture as a croissant, but it's actually way denser than that. Got a lot of substance in that bite. It's also a bit crunchier than I was expecting and really, really buttery. I'm gonna go in again and see if I can get more of the cheese and spinach in the bite. It definitely has that cooked spinach type of taste. I wasn't sure if it was going to be kind of like fresh raw spinach or not. And it's actually pretty light on the cheese. Like I said, you get a lot in bites, so I think this will actually fill me up. It's pretty good. Our next stop on the food tour is taking us across town to settle one of the newest debates in the city. Here, we're putting to the test one of the boldest and coldest claims in Croatian ice cream marketing. Here, we're picking up a cone and eating it just inside one of the city's main gates.
So we just picked up some gelato in Dubrovnik, and we're told this is the best gelato in the entire city, so we're really eager to try it. The flavor we got is called Peppino's Caramel Delight. It's supposed to have nougat in there, caramel, and I believe even hazelnut crumbs. It looks really good. They actually serve their gelato out of the silver metal tubs, which we've heard means it's a fresher quality gelato than the ones you see stacked high in plastic. I have a huge sweet tooth, and I am eager to dive into this. So here goes nothing. Absolutely worth the hype. We've had a lot of gelato. We spent a month in Italy, and we've been running around the Baltics for a couple weeks as well. And that might have been one of the best licks I've had. You definitely get the creaminess of the ice cream, but the caramel is really the star of the show. Yeah, in addition to the cream, you just get globs of nougat and caramel in there. If you're looking for a sweet treat in Dubrovnik, 10 out of 10 recommend this ice cream. And a bonus with this Peppino's gelato, it's actually melting a lot slower than I thought. I was expecting it to have a messy hand by the time I was finished recording this. In our Florence food tour, we had some gelato disasters with ice cream melting way faster than we expected. So I'm so thankful that my hands, at least for the moment, are clean. We'll see how long it lasts.
Yeah, it almost feels wrong to say this is one of the best gelatos we've had after a month in Italy, but we both agree that flavor is unlike anything I've had before. And it's actually not a terrible price for Dubrovnik. We've been pretty shocked by prices in Dubrovnik in general. I think the prices have really skyrocketed in the past couple of years. But this was, I think, €350 for the gelato, which isn't too bad. It's really good.
The next step on our food tour, we're winding our way through Dubrovnik's old town streets in search of an affordable sit-down restaurant that will hopefully get us out of the sun. Along the way, we're passing several of our favorite spots in Dubrovnik, which you might remember from our top things to do in Dubrovnik video, so be sure to check out that video as well if you'd like to see our recommendations on the best things to do and see in this ancient city. Anyways, we found ourselves a shady seat outside a local restaurant where we decided to try some of the entrees on the menu.
All right, so the next item on our food tour is Cevapi, and specifically chicken Cevapi. We spent the past week in Bosnia staying at Mostar. So we had some pretty authentic Cevapi there, and we wanted to try something new while we were here in Dubrovnik. So the typical Cevapi you'll see, particularly in the Balkan regions, is usually minced beef sticks, and it will usually be served with some sort of pita bread and sometimes fries and some vegetables as well. Like I said, we got the chicken instead of the beef because we wanted to try something new. And some of the items that it comes with are a little bit different than we were seeing in Bosnia as well. In Bosnia, we were seeing Cevapi was served typically usually with a side of cabbage and onions. But here we're getting some corn, which we've been seeing a lot in Dubrovnik, as well as pickles, tomatoes, and some sort of sauce. So I'm interested to see what this is. So I think I'll try to assemble a little chicken cevapi sandwich. So bear with me for a second here. All right, so I assembled my little sandwich. The only thing I left out was the tomatoes because I'm not a huge raw tomato fan, so I'll leave those for Michael. But I'm gonna go in for my first bite here. So I think the sauce they're using here is actually tartar sauce, which I didn't expect at all. The chicken's really nice and fresh. The toppings included are kind of interesting. I don't think I would typically put corn on a sandwich before, but it's pretty good in there. I will say it's a lot different than the Bosnian cevapi, which is so interesting because we're pretty close. The bread that it comes with is way more like traditional sourdough bread, and it looks like they have grilled it a little bit, whereas in Bosnia we were getting like the pita bread that comes with cevapi. It's still really good, but I would say a completely different spin on it. If you haven't tried cevapi at all before, I would recommend going with the beef just to have it be a little bit more authentic. But the chicken is a nice, fresh twist on it. And as you can see, it's more than enough food for one person for lunch. So I think we're gonna split this.
So surprisingly enough, when we were looking for restaurants, we heard this place is known for crepes, and there's always that divide of, do I get a sweet crepe or a savory crepe? We saw a pizza crepe on the menu, which tantalized us enough to order it, and this looks like the most interesting crepe I've ever seen. It almost looks like it's deep fried, more like a chimichanga than a crepe, but the presentation is really simple but surprisingly beautiful. I don't quite know what this sauce is yet. It does not look like pizza sauce, but I guess we'll find out pretty soon. So I've sliced into this roll here, and it definitely appears to be more like a ham and cheese sandwich in there. So maybe our pizza request got lost in translation. Still don't know how ham and cheese pairs with this sauce, whatever it is, but I guess here goes nothing. It's exactly what you'd expect a ham and cheese deep fried sandwich to taste like. I'm not a huge ham and cheese guy to start with, so for me it's, average at best, but if you're a ham and cheese fan, definitely a fun take on it. So we've made it a little deeper into this crepe here, and it seems like there is ketchup or marinara sauce in here, so that's probably why it's called pizza. It's definitely still a little weird to pair that with tartar sauce, so definitely not our favorite bite, so maybe stick with the sweet crepes if you come here.
Yeah, so I think we discovered this is actually ketchup, so it's kind of a combination of ham, cheese, deep fried crust, ketchup, tartar sauce, and tomato. So it's not like it's bad, but we're just wondering why. Kind of a weird take. Carrying on with our food tour, for our next stop, we're actually leaving the city walls in search of a more budget-friendly way to fill our bellies. Here we're heading to a highly rated pastry shop, frequented by both locals and travelers alike. Our goal was to try a local taste and see if we can make our wallets as happy as our stomachs.
So we just walked about 10 minutes up from the old city walls, and we found this bakery called Rusica Bakery. It had amazing reviews online, and when we walked in, the prices were incredibly reasonable. We got one of these local pastries and a chocolate croissant for a total of 260 euros, which is way better than the prices we've been seeing in Old Town. For comparison, the long skinny Burek we had in town earlier was 5 euros, and inside there they were selling them for less than half the price. So if you want to get cheaper food, definitely come outside the city walls. You might have to hike up some steps, but for those cost savings, totally worth it. I got this local pastry here. They had a couple different options in there. For this one, there was an option of salami or mushroom. I opted for mushroom today because I'm feeling like a fun guy.
Very funny, Michael. Okay.
It actually has a decent weight to it, so I'm gonna dive in here. Tastes really fresh. It's nothing too crazy. There's no spices or anything going on there. It almost tastes like a really fresh pizza bread because there's a little bit of tomatoes, there's cheese, and then obviously the mushrooms on there. I feel like normally pizza bread is very salty, and this is almost kind of sweet. For a cheap snack in the expensive town of Dubrovnik, would absolutely recommend this place. And clearly I was ravenous. I already tore into this chocolate croissant. For a single euro, this is a really good deal. It's definitely denser than most croissants I've had, where it's really bready, but I actually kind of like it that way. It feels like there's a little more hardiness to it, which is almost crazy to say because croissants are normally so dainty. But bang for your buck, chocolate croissant, can't think of a better spot. I'm really happy. While outside the city walls, we're heading to another highly rated restaurant to pick up some non-Croatian comfort food to fuel us after a busy day of exploring. For this, we're heading to an outdoor table with a view of the city walls for a classic from across the Adriatic, pizza. We were at Tabasco Pizzeria and our pizza just came out. We ordered the jumbo size and man, is this jumbo. We were a little nervous because sometimes I feel like sizes aren't always as big as you expect them to be in Europe. And this one is definitely not disappointing us. We went with the 4-cheese pizza. So supposedly there's 4 different cheeses melted on here. I see a couple different colors on there, so it looks pretty good and it smells pretty good too. We can see over there they actually have a wood splitter with a big pile of wood. They've been chopping logs for the wood burning fires. So not only do these ingredients look fresh, but it looks like the wood looks pretty fresh too. So I am so excited to dive into this. So I got a slice here, and it's definitely thin crust. I won't think it's as thin as New York style, but you might still have it folded in half. I'm gonna go for my first bite here. That's really enjoyable pizza. I got a big bite of blue cheese in there, which is kind of unexpected. Apparently, I guess blue cheese is one of the 4 cheeses in this. It actually has a good saucy flavor to it. There's a little bit of tang almost to it. That might be a little spicy kick. Maybe that's where the name Tabasco comes from. And you can't really see it from this angle, but we are eating this pizza overlooking the famous walls of Dubrovnik, which is a pretty scenic backdrop to enjoy some great pizza.
And like Michael said, the name of this place is Tabasco Pizza. And they actually brought Tabasco Sriracha sauce to our table. So we gave it a try and it's actually pretty good on this cheese pizza. It's kind of your typical Sriracha flavor, but it has a lot of smokiness to it. So it pairs pretty well. I'm actually pretty surprised. Pretty spicy.
If you like this food tour, please give this video a like, leave us a comment, and subscribe to our channel to see our videos from Dubrovnik and all over the world. Oh, and be sure to follow us on Instagram as well to see our up-to-date travel adventures. Next up, we're heading to nearby Montenegro to explore the picture-perfect town of Kotor. After wandering these quaint streets and exploring the mountainous ruins, we're finishing our Balkan tour by heading over to Greece, so be sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. Thanks, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.